Scope is all about where you can access the value of a variable. And this has to do with where that variable was created or declared. So we say we declare a variable. That's when we first make it with either let or const. You see here there's a very simple function on the screen, and you can probably guess what it's going to do. So when I run it, that's probably what you guessed, right? It's going to console log the value of the variable planet. But what's going to happen if I try to console log that value outside of that function? I'm going to get what's called a reference error because JavaScript does not recognize that that variable even exists unless we're inside the function. So there's no way that we can use planet unless we're running the function and writing code inside the function. So that's how scope works. When you have tightly scoped a variable, it exists only within a code block. And that code block would not have to be a function. It could also be an if statement, or it could be any kind of loop. So if the variable is declared inside the curly braces, it cannot be used or referenced outside the curly braces. So let's clear the console and show an example of what I just said. So you've got a typical for loop, an example for loop, very small, and we run it. And because of the way we're using I as a variable, we have logged 6 numbers here. Now, what if I want to use I in something else in my program? Is that even going to work? And you should be questioning that answer now if you're not sure. If I copy that and paste, what's going to happen? The same reference error. So we cannot access that variable I except inside the code block of the loop. And what is a code block, in case you forgot? A code block begins with an opening curly brace, and a code block ends with a closing curly brace. So we've seen how having a local scope or a block scope confines the variable to the block where it was declared. But what if we really needed to use it outside? Now, this can be dangerous, but if we did, we could. And I'm going to show you how that will work. First, I'm going to declare the variable outside any code block. So now I have a global variable named planet. It's accessible anywhere. And I'm going to write a new version of the space function. Call it space travel 2. Same basic idea, but we will console log inside it. And I think what we'll also do is we'll change the value of planet. How about that? So how about if we say planet equals Neptune? All right, so let's see what happens now. We will need to run the function. Why did it log Mars? Well, we had not yet changed the value, right? We had not changed the value of planet when we console logged it. So it worked to console log it because we had declared that variable outside the function. Okay, so I've cleared and reloaded, and I want us to see a third version of the space travel function. And in this third version, we're going to console log the value of planet, and then we're going to change the value of planet, and then we are going to console log it again. So what are we going to see this time? Can you imagine what it'll be before I run the function? Space travel 3. Okay, running the function now. So first it logged the global variable, the value of it, Mars. Then it changed the value to Neptune. And then when we logged it, the new value is the value. But what about if we console log now outside the function. What is the value of our global variable now? So you may be thinking, why not just make all my variables global variables? Declare them outside the brackets, declare them outside the blocks. That's considered a really bad idea by professionals, by computer science teachers, because as our programs get longer, it becomes harder to keep track of those variables if you're not tightly scoping them, keeping them inside blocks, not allowing them to be declared outside functions and other blocks.